Hello, in this lesson we will be solving a sigma problem. Sigma looks scary, but it just means one thing, add. And so I'll show you exactly how it works step by step. So let's go ahead and point some things out here. So this symbol here is called sigma, and sigma means add up. So let me go ahead and write that down. So we say sigma equals add. All right, and so now let's point some other things out here. At the bottom, this tells me where to start k equals 1. And this top tells me where to stop k equals 80. And so we plug in k equals 1, 2, 3, and we keep going until 80. And so if you take a look here at this expression, well, this is what we repeat. The only thing changing is k. All right, and so let's go ahead and see the first three terms so sigma actually makes sense here. And so let me go ahead and write when k equals 1, then we use this expression 5 minus 3, and we substitute k for 1. And that equals positive 2. Do the same for 2. 5 minus 3 times 2 equals negative 1. And do the same for 3 when k is 3. So we have 5 minus 3 times 3 equals negative 4. Okay, and so sigma means we would add all of those all the way to k equals 80. But we are not writing 80 terms. So the next thing we're going to do is use the sigma split rule. And that's a key step here. And I will say this, sigma lets us split a sum when there's addition or subtraction inside. And so because that's the case with this sum here, we're going to split it, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll set this equal to, and that is the sum of 5. And so k equals 1, and we have 80 on the top. All right, and that's minus the sum of negative 3k, or the sum of 3k minus 3k, and that is k equals 1 on the bottom and 80 on the top. Okay, and so now we have it where it reads fully the sum of 5 minus 3k equals the sum of 5 minus the sum of 3k with the same start and stop. All right, and so now let's go ahead and evaluate this first sum here. And so let me go ahead and bring down this arrow here. All right, and so this is simply telling us that we're adding 5 80 times. All right, so we're adding 5 80 times. And so 5 times 80, let me write 5 times 80 equals 400. All right, and so the first sum is 400. Now let's evaluate the second sum, but we're going to handle the sum of 3k in this fashion. We're going to pull the 3 out because it's a constant, and so that'll look like this. So let me write that here. And so that would be the sum of k. We have the 3 out in front, k equals 1 on the bottom, and 80 on the top. Okay, so now we're going to use the formula for adding 1 through n. And so I'm going to write it as the sum of k. And I'm going to place n on the top because we know it's 80, right? And we have k equals 1 on the bottom. And we're going to set this equal to n times n plus 1 divided by 2. All right, and so now we're going to substitute. So we have 3, so that's 3 times, and we know that n is 80, so 80 times, and n plus 1 is 81, so that's 80 times 81 over 2. And so let me just simplify this a little bit further to make it simpler here. So 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 80, 40 times. Okay, and so we have 3 times 40 times 81. That's 40 times 81. And so let's multiply 40 times 81 first, and that gives us, let's see, 3,240 multiplied by 3, and that equals 9,720. All right, and so what this means is that the sum of 3k, and I'll just write it over here to the left, the sum of 3k, and so we have k equals 1, 80 on the top, and let me just clean this up a little bit. That should be 3k is equal to 9,720. All right, and so we're not finished here yet. We have to subtract. So we have the sum of 5 minus the sum of 3k. So we saw that the sum of 5 is 400. So we'll write 400 minus 9,720, and that equals negative 9,320, and that is our final answer. All right, and so as a recap, sigma means add. The bottom is where you start, the top is where you stop, and we split the expression into 2 sums to avoid writing 80 terms. So keep practicing and stay tuned for more calm, clear math lessons right here on Math by TV.